Hello, Lulsters. So today we have Swapna Perry from Hyderabad. She represents the world of reviewers. Books are important for humanity, and readers add value to the books. But who are the bridge between the book authors and the readers? The reviewers. So I felt a reviewer must be in a podcast. So Swapna has gracefully agreed. Welcome, Swapna Perry, to our podcast. Over to Danya.
Yeah. To talk about Swapna Perry, she's a passionate book reviewer, writer, narrator, translator, and a copy editor. Swapna has a BTech in computer science and is a former SAP technical consultant. She's the writer, narrator, editor, and translator of 3 books published in Literoma Publishing, Kolkata. She created and managed the Book Reviews Cafe official blog and Facebook page that contains all the book reviews of hers. She is also a content writer and a reviewer with the Stories in Magazine, Critics Space Journal website, the Literature Times, the Asian Review website, and the Literature Today website. She is a member of various book clubs and is a regular book reviewer. She's a columnist with one of the leading women's websites in Telugu named Vihanga. We welcome you, Swapna. We're so
Thank you.
glad to have you on our podcast.
Yes, book reviewing has almost become, part of Instagram. Bookstagram. So, and it's a big, wide world out there, and I think so much is happening there. I'm going to begin with this, controversial question. Tell us about the politics behind the bookstagrammers, the fake IDs and whatnot. Let's begin there. Swapna?
Yeah, fake IDs are part of Instagram. Apart from either it could be a personal account or Bookstagram account or a creative account. So fake reviews are also a part of book reviews. As a reviewer, it's a big thing to say, but it's a fact. There are some new age authors who seek reviews in spite of fake or genuine. And because to boost up their sales, the Amazon rank, the first time authors obviously they do this, and it is a very vicious world over there, I can say. Yeah, and there are some paid accounts wherein there is no particular person in the account, like the account is live. Account has got followers. Account has got following.
Okay.
So which shows up. It's a person's account, but it's not a person's account.
Oh,
there are some companies that are behind this.
okay.
They create fake accounts and they create fake followers. And you'll be surprised to know you'll be getting SMS or messages or emails saying like if you pay this much amount, you'll be having 1,000 to 2,000 followers. Initially added up, and your account will be it will be in the first series of the accounts which will be visible to everyone.
Okay.
So this is all behind the fakeness.
No, the review by itself, a book review, how does it actually translate to sales or visibility in the Instagram?
And in the Instagram, it's about the presentation of the book initially. However good the book cover is. The picture a person posts about the book, it's what is like attractive. The more attractive, the first impression. And then Instagram works on like the number of followers. So when you just search for a book, the account of a person who is having number of followers will be popped up first.
Okay.
So if someone is really interested in reading that book, they'll go through the account. They'll follow the account. And once you follow an account, suggestions will be given like in the same Facebook suggestions kind of thing.
Okay.
So people start adding up, people start following those accounts.
Oh, no, no.
And
Number of followers or number of
yeah.
likes or
Mhm.
number of comments in one,
Mhm.
book review. Does that in any way really,
Affect the actual sales, like the
yes.
physical sales of the book is the question.
It does in some cases.
Okay.
For the first time authors, yes. Established authors may need not, resort to such kind of sales kinds of thing. Like, but new age authors or the first time authors, yes, it does
Oh,
happen.
okay.
And the publicists who take books from authors and send it to the reviewer groups, whereas there are mass projects where reviews are taken in like hundreds to hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
No, 200 to 300 reviews are being looked up.
Okay.
Then you have given the same book, and there are some cases where you are asked to rate it only 4 or 5, not less than 4, irrespective of the
They
content
are,
of the book. Yeah, it
that's,
happens. It happens.
Okay.
that's ridiculous.
And you're paid for that. So
Oh my God.
yeah, you're paid for that. That's
Okay.
yeah, the one of the I as I said the word vicious. Yes, it is vicious.
Oh my God.
No, I think it is more dirty than we actually thought.
It
So let
is.
me get
It
into
is.
let me get into the next question. Let's not
Yeah.
make it more
More
negative. Yeah.
uncomfortable also.
Yeah.
Okay.
My next question is see when you review a book, right, and you do not have a background of literature or like journalism or anything, how valid or how authentic do you think a reader would take the review? Like if your credentials are matching, there would be a different effect. But when you are a software professional or an IT professional or just a commoner like everyone else, and you're reviewing a book, do you think your credentials do matter?
Credentials doesn't matter. It all depends on the way you write a review. You present your review. That's how it actually works on. Because you don't log in with your own ID or own credentials either in your Amazon account or Goodreads account or wherever you post your review. So it all depends upon the kind of language you use to write the review and the effective vocabulary which really attracts people who read your reviews. So yeah, because there will be layman language used, there will be very professional vocabulary used. So usually people resort to simple language, so which creates an interest to the reader also. Okay, fine, this book review looks good. I think I can pick up this book. And it is also a part of reviewer to recommend the book or not recommended in part of the review. So that also actually helps another reader to read the book. So that's how a review will affect another readers.
So, have you ever come across an experience like a good review you have written or anyone, by anyone? The review is recommending a book and some reader has read it, but he comes back to say, I was disappointed. Your review is not matching what I expected. Did you have that
Yes.
kind of, and on the contrary, you didn't write very well about it, but at the same time, another reader reads that book by chance, by coincidence, and comes and says, it's such a good book. How could you write like that? I mean, have you come across such experiences?
I have experienced both of the cases.
Okay.
So the first one, like where I have rated it like 3.8, I remember in Goodreads. I have got 2 comments from other 2 readers saying like this doesn't even come under a 2 rating. So how could you give it 3.8? So we had a long discussion we had.
Okay.
I had to review my review again, and then I had to explain those 2 readers because they're in top 100 reviewers of India.
Oh, okay.
So we all come under that top 100. So I had a responsibility to explain them why did I rate it 3.8.
Oh,
And the same
that's very
manner,
nice.
I remember, and I remember the story, but I don't remember the title. It was written by a doctor. She's a doctor. So after reading the book, I thought it was not even worth writing. There's nothing. There's just conversations happening in the book. It was like 270 pages or something. So I thought I rated it as 2.1 or 2.2. Then it was a 3-day or 4-day verbal battle with the person on WhatsApp.
Mm.
I said, no, I'm not going to change. Then I said, if you want, I can even, that the author has sent the book in, actually.
Mm.
So I said, I can send back the book price. And I did not even ask for the review amount. So please, I know I don't want the book. I would send it back.
Oh, the author
Because
wanted a change.
She wanted to, yeah, she wanted a good rating, but I
That's what
could
I'm
not
saying.
rate it. My conscience did not accept me. I mean, yeah.
That's not right to even ask. And
These are the only two experiences I had. Later on,
hey,
no.
that's very interesting. And Swapna, really
It happens.
very proud of you for that. I mean, to review your review and then stick on to your convictions. That's very nice. I heard you read around 300 books a year. How do you manage?
Yeah.
How? I mean, you're a fast reader, you told me then, even
Yeah.
then. I
So
wonder how.
I should actually quote my mother-in-law, who's like octogenarian.
Hmm.
She is the biggest support. She stays
Oh,
with us, and she does all the household work because I don't have a maid. She cooks, so major part of the work is done by her.
oh,
And she keeps me reminding, you have to read this book. She's also a reader. She's a good reader. She sees like how many books I get in a
what
parcel
a
or something.
fortune, Swapna.
So yeah, and my husband, yeah, he's also very cool. Though he doesn't read books, he helps me a lot. So I
So
have
nice.
the whole time in the world to read.
Oh.
So,
That's
Fantastic.
actually amazing to even hear, you know, for us.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
us. Yeah. Yeah. Then our next question would be, do you follow a set of ethics while you do a review? And do you have advice for an author or a reviewer, you know, to ascribe to your set of ethics? Or is there any comment that you would like to give on that?
I would not use the word ethics. I would like to quote, there are some tips I usually take for myself, and then if anyone asks me, I give them. Never review a book just after you complete reading it. Because the emotional balance you have at that point of time is different. So sit for some time, take a break, and then write the review. Because that emotional quotient it really helps a lot. So
Very
relax
good.
for a while and then write it.
Fantastic.
And my usual habit is like once I'm done reading, I write the points. I just jot down the points. Sometimes I even jot down, if at all I like something in the page itself, I mark it. So once I'm done doing that, I review those also. Then I go back to that point of mental impression I had. Why did I do this? Why did I mark it? Why did I star it? Then I review myself, and then I actually write the review on my laptop.
Fantastic.
So there
professional.
will be 2 or 3 reviews. So yeah.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Very impressed.
I mean, it does help.
Fantastic.
Does your review just stick to the premises of the story of the book, the grammar, the editing, and all that? Or do you go beyond that? Is there any other areas where a reviewer could review a book rather than just with the subject of the book or the characters, the grammar, the editing, the look? Is there anything more that you can add in a review?
Sometimes, yeah, I do take the place of the author. I try to get into the shoes of the author, and if it's a serious fiction book, it's not like the normal YA book or normal love story kind of thing. Yeah, I don't give it so much of importance. But there are some serious books which are based on realistic incidents that happened. Recently, I can quote. It's like it's about court trials. The book was about court trials, and there are four to five court trials the author has mentioned in it. So while reading it, I just took a break. I stopped reading it. I went and watched a movie which was on court trials. Just tried to, why did author choose this subject? She wants to tell something to the society. Yes. So all the five incidents she picked up were about women and their abuse and rape. So then I thought, as it was actually easier for a woman like me to get into shoes of a woman and then think. But there are some men writers who write about women issues. So that, first of all, that really attracts me. So I then go and check out the author's profile. So when you see author's profile, you will be having an impression. Okay, why did they choose this subject? And then, as you said, after reviewing, like in the normal premises, I just check out. Okay, like an author, if I want to change this, or I wanted something else to happen in this part of the story, I just imagine, and if possible I would try to put those points in my review in a very nicer manner, because at the end of the day I should not insult any author of their work.
Yeah.
But it rarely happens. It rarely happens.
Okay. So how much does a book cover, or the title, or the product by itself, the paper, the quality of the paper, the quality of the cover, all those matter to you as a reviewer, or to any reviewer? Does it matter?
Okay, I would answer this in two ways, personally and in a general manner. Personally, I don't actually give so much of importance to all these things, because the saying a book should be judged by its cover is the one of the wrong thing I have ever read or heard. Because though the cover may be attractive, sometimes the contents will be like, no way,
Yeah.
though the book cover is not attractive, but the story will be like mind-boggling.
Yes.
It so happens. Though people give so much of weightage to the cover, obviously, it's like the first impression. But once you look the book, if it's very attractive, you pick it up. That's how writers like Chetan Bhagat, Durjay Datta, Nikita Singh, etc., they have become famous, because we know how their contents are being criticized, but their covers, yes. Chetan Bhagat books are like one of the best covers I have ever seen.
So, only covers. Okay. Yeah. So
paper, yes, paper does matter. Because cheap paper, sometimes it looks like you can even read the impression, the back impression of the page. It disturbs while reading.
Not
but there are some publishers who use beautiful quality of paper.
Yes.
I would never like to. I mean, I cannot even fathom the point to lose that book. No way.
So
the problem is, like, we fake books also. The fake books, sometimes they have good paper, which is readable, but sometimes no. Yeah, but it does, sometimes it does matter. Yeah.
So you have grown as a reviewer, but earlier on, did you have that kind of an attraction towards an attractive cover? That you must answer before. I mean, even before that, you can, or after that, you can answer this. When did you start serious reading and reviewing? How you evolved to reviewing? And
serious reading started in my 8th standard. So reading started in 3rd class. Reviewing started once I was working with my first company, because I had to read a lot of technical books. So when I found it like very good, I used to buy it on Amazon. I used to give 3 or 4 liner reviews.
Okay.
It's how normally reviewing started.
Okay.
And then once I have quit my job, it was a magical thing that happened to me. One guy, he's generally, I don't even know him. He pinged on my Facebook Messenger. He asked me, "Do you want to review a book?" I said, "Okay." Then I didn't know the process. Then I said, "Okay, when should I buy the book?" Then he said, "No, you give me a bank details. I'll send you the book." Okay. And you have to review it on Amazon and Goodreads.
Mm.
I said, till then I had a Goodreads account, but I was so naive. I thought Goodreads was also to buy books.
Oh.
That was in 2017. I understood no, Goodreads is not for buying books, but it's about reading and reading the reviews of the books. It was in July 2017. I did my first fiction book review,
Okay.
and it started from there. That's it.
So how do you like fiction or non-fiction books?
I like books.
Books.
I like books. It could be it could be a children's book. It could be a fable. It
Oh.
could be anything. It's a book.
Anything. Oh, lovely. Okay.
Book.
Yeah. My next question is like, see, when you know an author, or let's say if it's a serious book, when you have already acquainted with the first book of an author, like you said, it is a little tough to separate the author from the book. Do you feel that in your reviews also? Like, are people not able to separate you from your reviews? Do you have that?
Can you just repeat? No, I
Yeah,
couldn't hear it.
the thing is, like, can you hear me properly now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Is
now,
it,
yeah.
is it audible? Yeah.
It
The
is.
question was, it's hard to separate, or like when you've already acquainted with the first book of the author, you have this expectation, you know this is the style of the author, you're very used to them, right?
Yeah.
Do you also go through this? Do reviewers also go through this, or are you set in your styles? Do people judge you by the usual reviews that are you so connected with your reviews that they cannot separate you from the actual review?
Yeah, I could identify this problem when I reviewed 2 or 3 books in a row. They were all fiction, and the style of writing was the same thing. I myself found it like very repetitive. So then I thought, okay, if I read 3, I usually read 3 books a day. So I started picking up genres. One is like fiction, non-fiction, and one would be some spiritual book or something. So that the language matters, it changes. The kind of vocabulary I use changes, so that, as you said, I will not be so attached to my review style. But though people are acquainted with the review style, they see a difference in it. So it also actually helps me. It calms my mind. Else, sometimes I go run out of words. Usually, I mean, 26 letters don't help. Alphabets don't help me. I have to reinvent. So I that is the reason I pick up the grammar and synonyms book, so that I can take help of it. But as you said, sometimes when it gets repetitive, it's kind of boring, because when people really want to read reviews that Swapna Peri has written, it should not be boring to those readers who read my reviews. So I identified it myself, so I took a little care. Hope that's working. I don't know.
So what's the difference between pleasure reading and, reading for a review? Is there a difference? Have you been reading also for pleasure in between?
Yes.
Or only for
Yes.
reviewing?
I do this every, I pick up a day in a week to read the books I love to read. Else, it will be the review copies.
So what's
I
the
had-
ratio, the books that you read for your pleasure and the books you read for reviews? What's the normal proportion?
It could be 75, 25 or 65, 35. So obviously 65 will be the review ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there like a magic size or a magic number of words for the review? Because see, even for books, there are like, if a book is around 40 to 50,000 K words, it'll be better. And if it's that particular size, like 240 pages, people will have more attention. Is there like a magic number for reviews? Is there like a specific size?
There's no specific size, but usually a review with 150 to 200 words would actually suffice any kind of any number of pages, though it be 1,000 pages. Because sometimes 1,000 pages of book need not get into your mind so much. It could be different, but a 40-page book would be so interesting, where you need to write so much about the book. Well, it all depends upon the contents again. I found it very difficult reading Anna Karenina after a long time.
Mm.
It was like 1100 pages book or something. I was like, wow.
Mm.
But to review, it was like writing a review to such certain books is very tedious. It's about how you live with the characters. But we cannot actually write about the characters. We have to live with them. So yeah, and that for those kind of books, 2 or 3 line review is also fine.
So do you
else,
have a, Swapna, do you have a list of books that you keep reading, rereading, reading after some time again? Is there a list of favorite books you have?
I have I don't have that habit. No, I never reread a book.
Okay.
Once read, it's read. That's it. Even though it's my favorite book or something, yeah, once read is read.
But you will keep them with you, really?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. I have this dream of setting up my own library.
Okay.
I'm
all
just
the best.
piling up all my books.
Good luck.
Yeah,
good
thank
luck.
you.
Yes. Yes.
I can't show it in a in the meeting right now.
We can
because
see.
No. This is just the books that are apparently you can see them, but there are boxes in Hyderabad home and in Orissa home which are which are completely packed. Yeah. But yeah, I do keep every book because maybe I don't reread them, but my favorite time pass when I am like feeling bored or I'm some kind of gloomy situation, I just close the doors of my room. I take all the books from the boxes and the cupboard. I rearrange them. I check them.
Oh, okay.
That's my favorite hobby.
Oh, that's nice. Do you remember any fiction that you, for example, about 5-6 years back, you read it, you reviewed, or you didn't review? That's okay, but you read it and you really liked it. But today, will you remember the author name, the title, the protagonist, the character curve, everything? Do you?
With my, I even remember the review I have written for some books. There are such impactful books, yes.
Yeah.
I usually forget the title name and the author name, but I remember the story, the setting of the story, and the characters, yes. Might not be the character name sometimes, but yes, the situations that character has gone through, or that those situations which really attracted me to write a good review.
Okay.
And sometimes I even remember the rating I've given to the book.
So that's very interesting.
Once, maybe if I just check out the list, if I see the title name, I think I can tell you what kind of review I have given, what is the rating I have given. Yeah.
Okay. So this
have
reviewing.
You...
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, it's okay. You can go on.
No. How has this reviewing process, this has helped you evolve as a person, as a reader, both the reviewing journey?
As a reader, I can say I started exploring more genres. Though if I pick up fiction, even in fiction, I started exploring so much in the fiction. It could be realistic fiction, it could be incidental fiction, it could be historical fiction, mythological fiction, etc., etc. Abstract fiction. It so happened. And as a reviewer, because I started reading so many books, it made me more comfortable reaching out to people, talking to people, acquainting myself in groups, because I am, if I am like, I take a book whenever I go to a family function. I'm that kind of person. So yeah, I used to pick up a corner place, go sit, read the book after greeting everyone. But now if I find someone who is interesting, I just go to them and talk.
Oh, okay.
Maybe my reading has helped me in improving my speech. I talk a lot, but that doesn't mean I talk good. But I started talking good. Yeah.
My question is, have you ever felt a halo, like a bias towards a book or an author? And if you did, how did you overcome it while you were reviewing the book? Or maybe a genre also?
I think I can say genre. It could be genre. Usually, I feel very comfortable is the college romance,
Mm.
and that which comes from Indian authors, because
Mm.
I can relate it so much
Mm.
to the setting of the story, to the emotions, the feelings, or the little nuances. Yeah, not particularly in any author, but the genre, yes, college romance. I never say no to that kind of book.
Mm.
Whenever someone gives me that book to review or read,
Mm.
I
Mm.
love reading
So does
college
that
romance.
influence? So does that bias or comfort influence your review, and how do you overcome it?
Mm.
No, it doesn't influence, but it gives me a comfortable mindset.
Mm.
So no, it doesn't. It doesn't influence. I can say this
I see.
because if I get influenced, I'm not doing some justice to this review or the author
Yes.
himself
Mm.
herself.
Mm.
So no, not never got influenced, but yeah, I can say I feel very comfortable in reading certain
Mhm.
genres.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Another genre which I really feel comfortable with is self-help books. You know,
Oh, aren't
because
they dry? Aren't they dry?
they would be dry, but it comes from different mindsets.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
for example, it could be about leadership qualities, but it comes from so many people, and we can see like how they view it.
Ah,
So no,
perspectives.
maybe if I read it, oh, okay,
Oh.
this was not my kind of interaction to the people,
Mm, mm,
or
mm,
they
mm.
have given a different angle of it.
Mhm. Yeah.
A
Okay.
positive outlook towards any book actually gives a good impression. So I do that.
Ah, that's very
And
nice.
you had just told us that you would read like 3 books a day, right? I mean, how do you do that? How do you find motivation to read and then also review, right? You'll have to review, that's your job. So
Yeah,
like, how do you find motivation to do?
as I said, I take a 1 day break to review. So today, if I read 3 books, tomorrow I read another 3 books. But the first 3 books will be reviewed the next day. So
Mhm.
that gap of 1 day is fine.
Mhm.
Reading, I can even skip my meals, but I cannot skip reading. You should see my bed. Under the pillow I have 2 or 3 books. Uh,
Why do you
it
hide
was
it?
in my no, there's a small I don't know, it's not sentimental also. It's a
Okay.
stupid belief. It's a stupid
Oh,
belief. It
okay.
was in my second standard. One of my Catholic teacher, she was a sister. Well, her name was. So she said like, if at all you are scared of reading something, I was scared of maths,
Oh.
obviously. So she said, if you could put your maths notes under your pillow, maybe God will give all those, power that everything goes into your mind. I still do that, but though I read the books. I put them under the pillow. Yeah.
Oh. Interesting, interesting.
I don't know. Books, you ask me anytime, I can read. I love books. That book can be one paragraph.
Do
A
you
book
like
can
the
anything.
dark fiction,
Yes.
the psychology, dark psychology related books? Do you like have any book that you will mention for the listeners? Author
I
and
like, yeah. Recently, I think I've read a book written by a very young fellow.
Mhm.
Uh, I'll just try to get the title name.
No
It's
worries.
about a teenage kid getting
Mhm.
in the hospital,
Okay.
and because of his bad childhood and his bad memories with his mom and dad,
Mhm.
he never hesitates to take any kind of step which harms people.
Okay.
So he gets pleasure harming them.
Okay.
Yeah, even he feels pleasure to harm the girl he loves.
Oh, okay.
And the explicit writing,
Okay.
it was really very interesting.
Mhm.
Dark books, yes,
Oh,
that's
interesting. That
considered.
is.
It was psychological, yes, because
Yes.
I had to take, for the first time, I think after so many years, I had to take break while reading the book. I had to take
Oh.
a 10-minute break for a chapter. I even
Oh.
mentioned it in the review, I think. I remember.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
It was
Okay.
like very, I could not imagine a kid doing that, you know, a
Mm-mm.
11, 12-year-old kid doing that. So,
I understand.
Have you ever read a book where the plot was beautiful, you know, like the story plot was so beautiful, but you wished that instead of this author picking this story up, if some other author like another fame or any author would have done more justice to the plot?
Yes. There's a author, I think she wrote only one book. That's it. Ira Trivedi, her name is. She has written about the story of a girl, journey of a girl who comes from a small village to the hi-fi society of Delhi, and she gives us a background of how rich kids celebrate birthday parties, or you know. The book is written by Ira Trivedi. She must have written it own. I mean, she's the author. Must be the only book she has written. So it's about a small girl coming from a small town to the elite society of Delhi. So she befriends all those rich kids, attends the poolside parties, poolside birthday parties, wherein all kind of I can say illegal activities go on, and how she gets influenced. But the story, the plot was very good, but maybe her amateur writing could not give it that good impression. I thought, as you said, a conditioned writer could have done it a little more better. Because somewhere it was, you can see the language used or the vocabulary used was like very amateur. So, I even wrote an email to the author saying, like, whenever you know, she could have taken help of someone else, you know, who could read and edit it, so that it would give the quality of the story that has come out could have been better. Yeah, it so happened with that book. I remember that. And
So,
I read
so sometimes, yeah. Please go.
Yeah, no, I read a lot of Indian authors.
Okay.
And yeah, it's good to read Indian authors, because this myth of, if you ask anyone, do you read books? They say yes. Do you read English books? Yes. Then if you ask them, the popular names they come out with is a C.P. Sheldon, or
Dan Brown.
you know, Dan Brown, Geoffrey Archer. I said, come on, we have authors in India. I love Indian authors. I pick up Indian
Amish
names.
Tripathi, Danya's favorite.
well, I say Chetan Bhagat. Yeah.
Your favorite?
My
Chetan
reading
Bhagat?
actually started good with him. Yeah. So I give him a good amount of credit, where a generation of people started reading because of him.
Oh, you say that. Okay.
Yeah. After 2002 or 2001, yes.
Okay.
English books from Indian authors have thrived up because of Chetan Bhagat.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I wanted to ask you, like you said, you when you give your opinions, or when you show some back work, like an author, or give them a bad review or something, have you faced, they will defend themselves, right? If the author has given their book to you for the review, then they're going to defend themselves. So are you going to stay on your spot and just stand your ground and say, okay, this is my review and that's it? Or are you going to reread the book, or make some get the author's point of view and then change it or something? Has there been like something like that?
Never. Though authors have tried asking me to change, I said no, I cannot do that. That was a straightforward answer. I said no. So yeah, because that pokes my conscience. I can't do that. Being a daughter of a writer, I have to take care about. My mom is a writer, so I have to be careful about it.
Okay.
So, yeah, because I don't understand how authors.
She writes in Telugu. Does she?
Yeah, she's a Telugu. She's a Telugu writer. Yeah.
No, it might be like there was a different point of view for them, and we also have biases. Like as humans, we also might not perceive certain things, right? So if they are going to tell you, this you said about this, and this is not the way I wanted it to be perceived, would you reconsider? Then
I would explain them why I have written like that.
Mhm.
So that's it. But I will never change my I can say opinion. Yeah, I would never do that.
Myself, I have reviewed a few, not many, but
Okay.
I am an author. In this point, I will have, I'll share what I think. Mm. Once the book is written, it is not the author's anymore.
Correct.
And the author who clings to the book is not progressing anymore. In some form or the other, the author gets stagnant. So if the author is going to be so concerned about the review that is coming, of course, good reviews really are helpful, but some kind of a criticism does not always have to be, taken so seriously, and go after the reviewers is all the more, I think, ridiculous.
I'll just add one point. I think as a writer, I say always, because I used to write from my school, though not published. Writing has always been a good exercise also. A writer should not have any kind of these pre-assumptions. Keep it free of me. Once you wrote it, it's in the air. It's like you give a word outside of your mouth. It's in the public. You have no control about it. Authors, authors should not do that. I don't know. Never, because as you said, it will be like you're restricting yourself and you're restricting the creativity you have in your mind. So that's a blunder, actually. I mean, you're going with your ego, not with the attitude. So there's a slight difference between them.
Correct.
So yeah.
Got it. I think it's time for World of W's now. The World of W's is a segment where we ask you the W questions,
Okay.
what, when, where, how, and why. And
Okay.
It's for the listener to, if the listener doesn't have the time to listen to the entire session, they could just scroll here and just listen to this and get a gist of it.
Okay.
So the first question is, do you just do reviews of Indian authors, or are you including foreign authors? If you are, then what is the criteria for that?
I do include foreign authors also, because I get books from foreign authors who are independent authors, and who are also, I also get books for publishing process. The process will be the same. Yes. My way of reviewing, it just depends upon the contents of the book, not the geography of the book it comes from.
So what's the next project, not review project, perhaps becoming an author?
You become an author?
What's the next project?
I can say I have authored a complete biography already.
Okay.
In January 2020.
Okay.
And it was released in Jan 2021 because of the lockdown. It's a biography of a female poet. Her name is Manisha Yadav. So she wanted her biography to be written. So I read her all 3 books in Hindi. Those are poetry books. And I was so fascinated by her writing. I approached the publisher saying like, I want to write her biography. Then it all went good. So
okay.
the book is right now in the market. So yeah.
What is the name of the book, and what language is it in? Where can we find it?
It's in English. It's in Amazon, and the book name is Flight of Courage.
Is it print and Kindle or just Kindle?
It's a paperback.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's published by Literoma. With them, I have edited and narrated breast cancer survivor story in an anthology of biographies, which is like first in the world, where we have anthology of biographies of 7 women warriors who come from different parts of life.
Okay.
There's a 70-year-old entrepreneur.
Okay.
There's a 35-year-old cancer survivor. So yeah, I've narrated the cancer survivor story.
Oh, okay.
And I've edited both the books. And as said, I have translated a Hindi poetry book of Miss Manisha Yadav into Telugu.
Okay.
So I think I am now a translator in a way, a narrator, editor, whatever.
Any fiction in the making?
And I can say this very bluntly. I have no interest in becoming a writer.
Okay.
It happened to be writing. I love reading. I love reading. I want to read a lot, read a lot, read a lot.
Keep reading, keep reading.
Where can our listeners find all your work? Is there a specific platform that they can go and find all your work in one place?
I maintain a book review blog. So I write articles in there. I post articles there. I share something which I find very interesting. Or apart from the book reviews, I post.
Mm.
So that blog
What is
would-
the name of that blog?
It's Book Reviews Cave. So Book Reviews Cave dot WordPress dot
Mhm.
in. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to shortly make it a website so that it would be easy for everyone to check out.
Yeah.
Access, yeah.
Yeah.
In your
So,
opinion, why books and why reading and reviewing?
Books are better than people because books give us a 360-degree curvature of any point. Could be anything. Pick up anything in the world. If you go and ask your mom, she gives you one kind of answer in only one direction, which depends on her experience. The same thing happens with any other person. But a book, it gives the individual to think, first think. You think and then you go and ask for an opinion. But first, initially only you go and ask someone's opinion, you get influenced with them. So yeah, so I say books are better than people. Reading, why reading is like reading enhances your thinking capacity. Forget about knowledge, forget about language. It makes you think. We have so much of brain, we have so much of matter in it. We don't use it. You read, you think. That's it.
Why review?
got it.
You didn't tell that. Why at
Why
all review?
It's review, in my opinion, is putting forward my feeling about the book. It's not merely to satisfy or give someone an idea of the book or recommend a book to someone. It's about my feeling about the book. Why did I like it? Why I didn't like it? What did I learn from the book? So, yeah.
Yeah, our last question is, how should an author approach you and what is the process of the reviewing?
I have actually created a contact page in my blog site where my email ID is given. So usually authors have mailed me regarding their work there only. And I'm like always online in the Facebook Messenger and Instagram. So I'm always online. So, authors usually ping me there, publicists ping me there, publishers ping me there. So my social media website, handles are always active. So yeah.
Very good.
I have mentioned the
Thank
same
you.
thing in my blog site also, so authors can approach there.
Good. That's great. So if you could give us a few words about how you felt with the interview and a few parting words to our listeners.
This is the toughest thing, I think, because I started just talking, but okay, I have to now, give a feedback kind of thing. Okay. This interview has actually given me a confidence that what I am doing is kind of worth, because usually people don't understand what book reviews are, book reviewing is. When I go to a family gathering, they ask me, "You're not working. What are you doing sitting at home?" So I read books. Okay, apart from that, what do you do? I read and review them. Okay, why do you review them? I do review them. I mean, okay, then I think you don't have an idea about it. There's the whole new world of reviewing. Yeah, and now that thing is being considered, and I am representing reviewers and talking about my book reviews. It has started as a hobby, now taking it on a serious kind of thing. I should really thank you guys. I mean, it's very overwhelming, it feels good when you do something, you're being acknowledged.
Yes, of course.
And
Yes.
else I'm just taken granted for a homemaker. Sit
No.
and cook for your husband, for your, do seva for your mother-in-law. That's it. But in turn, they help me. People don't know that,
Mhm.
That is why I always point out saying my mother-in-law helped me a lot.
So sweet. So sweet.
This is
And a few parting words for our listeners. Is there anything you would like to tell them? Listeners?
Read books. Start reading. If you haven't read, just start reading. It could be a love story, it could be a serious fiction story, it could be a spiritual book, it could be a magazine, it could be a newspaper, whatever it is. Start reading. If you read, you will know what you are capable of. Because people we just scroll Facebook pages, we just scroll Instagram pages, but there also we are doing reading, but you're not recording it. When you read something on Instagram or Facebook or any social media thing, you are reading it, you're taking it in your brain, but you're not analyzing it. But when you pick up a book, you read it seriously, you analyze. That makes you think.
Fantastic.
So that's it. Start reading.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you so much
Swapna,
for
coming on board and sharing so much of reviewers' world. And yes, like you said, you're representing the reviewers, and I hope more and more reviewers are acknowledged or recognized or celebrated here on. I'm sure many that this will be a trendsetter.
Maybe before closing this, I would just thank my mom and dad who inculcated the habit of reading in us since we were kids. I've never seen my mom without a book, my dad without a book. You can even find a library in our washrooms. It happens till now. And then to all those people who have approached me to review their books, because of them, I'm able to talk to you now.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant.
That's it. Thanks to they're all kids, I can say. They're like 17-year-old author was there. Yeah, I read a book which was by 3-year-old girl.
Okay.
She wrote a cute book. I could read that. That's a book for me. So,
so
books are books. Yeah. So thanks to all those people. Thanks.
Lovely. That's a great gratitude. Note of gratitude. Thank you, Swapna Peri, for gracing the panel. Let's have you on board when your next book comes.
Sure.
Yes. All the best.
Hopefully.
Best
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.